it helped to be part of the wider Presbyterian Church?
One of the things that I've loved since I was first brought to a Presbyterian church as a teenager was to realise that we're not just connected in a local congregation, but we're connected to a wider church family of all kinds of people around the island of Ireland. And when doing something new like Balbriggan, we really see the benefit of being connected like that. Just people who are invested in this small community, this church community in North County Dublin, people who've never even been to Balbriggan, people in other churches who are asking how they can pray for Balbriggan, people from other churches who are thinking, how can we support you in whatever ways?
What convinced you to go from Bible studies to weekly services? What were some of the markers that allowed you to go to the next stage?
So I think the main thing we've been looking for when we were starting the new church in Balbriggan was investment from people and buy-in. And we were really looking to see if the people who were living in Balbriggan but travelling to the Donabate church, would they be willing to commit to it.
I'm really convinced that in churches we need to be willing to take risks as we feel led by God, take risks and actually not be afraid to fail. So in doing Balbriggan and starting it, we were always aware this might start or something might start and it might not continue.
Over the few years that we were working here before we even started the service, we saw that they were just so willing to open their homes to us. And then over the course of time, we've seen people grow in their faith. There's just been a real love for being together in this group. And we've seen more people join in the group as well, which has been really exciting.
Tell us the ups and downs of starting and then the pandemic hitting.
Yeah, it was actually it was very difficult at the start when we made 7 weeks of meeting together in this community centre where we're filming today, and it was a beautiful time in those first 7 weeks of having the services. We really felt like this was getting really exciting and people were just really enjoying being at church in person together. And then suddenly when the pandemic hit, all of that had to stop. Another thing which was difficult was a huge part of Balbriggan was social interaction and different gatherings. We loved having barbecues and going for picnics and going to the beach. And then when the government was saying that all of this had to stop, it was really difficult for the church, and we were thinking, well, how can we possibly continue to grow, and how can we reach new people in the area? I've been completely surprised by how God has kept us going over the course of this year. One of the things is that we're actually still here a year later, and when we started meeting again a few weeks ago in the community centre, and everybody came back, and it was just such a joyful time of worship, and people were just really glad to be in the same room again, and that was amazing. So I'm surprised that happened.
I mean, what we've seen over this last while is the faithfulness of God. It says in the Bible, Jesus says that I will build my church. And sometimes you think, well, can we rely on the promises of God? And we really have seen God in just the most adverse circumstances for church planting allow a church to take hold and even grow in a pandemic.
Over the course of the pandemic, God was actually able to bring some new families along to us. One family we were able to, we just met them they texted us on the Instagram page. They were looking for a church to go to, and they've just literally begun their journey of following Jesus. And it's been amazing for us to get to know them and read the Bible with them. And even though we actually got to know them first of all online, and then we've got to know them in person since then, that was a big surprise.
But I hope too that what it leads to, and what other people are doing in the wider church and in other denominations as well, as they're trying to do new things, is to give Christians on this island the hope and the confidence that God will do things in communities, that we should be trying things. We might fail in our eyes, but just be led by God and be willing to try things and be willing for them to not be a success as we understand them. But I would love to see other churches in the North County area in the next 10, 20 years, and other churches start across the island of Ireland, whether those are Presbyterian churches or other ones that are Bible-believing churches.